Hi, I'm Carmen,
And I'm Steven, and this is Vienna Past and Present.
where we walk through the gilded and sometimes not so gilded halls of Vienna's history. So today we're doing another Zeitgeist episode because, guess what? We feel like we really need something light and easy. So this is the Zeitgeist we want to be living in, the stick your head in the sand, alternate universe Zeitgeist that's keeping us going, or at least it's keeping me going.
Yeah, so this time we Googled Vienna looking for current events and strange stories, and here's what we came up with for this month. Hot dog stands and American football. Right? Not what you'd expect from us, but we like to keep you guessing. Every city has its street food, and Vienna is no exception. In Vienna, have you ever been to a Würstelstand? To a non-Austrian audience, it's essentially a hot dog stand with a lot of Viennese twists. But there's some recent, exciting Würstelstand-related news, and we're both putting each other on the spot. You'll get to hear Carmen quizzed, and you'll hear me struggle to ask the questions in the original, apparently local dialect-heavy German. This is your chance to turn off the episode now and avoid my shame, or pop your popcorn and get excited for it.
I'm excited for it. I don't know what's coming here, but I'm very excited.
Yes, she has not seen the questions, so this will really test her German and German-esque language skills.
I think it's going to be more like problem-solving skills. We'll see.
Probably. Okay. So the first one, the one close to my heart, these Viennese sausage stands, Würstelstand. I think that's how it's said. Like, how close am I already?
No, that's very good. Würstelstand.
Oh, okay. Like someone would understand that. Okay, good. We're on a good track. We'll see if it continues. So in December 2024, these were added to Austria's UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage. Other things on the list include Austria's wine taverns and, quote, coffee house culture. I mean, those are definitely things. I think those are both strong players to me, so the stands are in good company.
Agreed. I think that's like the trifecta, right? The Heuriger, I guess, is the wine taverns, right? The coffee houses.
Yeah.
And now the Würstelstand. I mean, what more do you need?
Yeah, those feel like very, very real and kind of non-contrived, which, I mean, no offense, sometimes these lists can kind of be like, even if they're not contrived, it's like things that I'm not aware of at all. But these ones, I guess, like, I've experienced these other ones, so cool.
Yeah, they're definitely a very central part of Viennese culture, I would say.
Yeah.
So they belong on the list.
Yeah, okay, but it has not been all smooth sailing for the Würstelstands. There's been a fight with Slovenia over the names of certain foods they serve, right?
Yeah, there was a fight. I mean, this was several years ago, back in 2012, I think.
Okay.
At least in Vienna, the main thing that people buy at the Würstelstand, or kind of the most popular sausage, is the Käsekreiner.
Yes, I remember these.
So that's a sausage with cheese in it that you can get either cut up with bread or you get it like hot dog style, which, by the way, I don't recommend. Hot dog's not the way to go. They like put all the ketchup, They like carve out a baguette basically, and then like shove the sausage in, but they put all the ketchup and the mustard like in before the sausage.
Okay, you know what? I didn't even know you could get this, so you must have, like, protected me from that reality even. Like, it did not show up like that when you ordered this from me.
Well, no, because I ordered it properly, which is cut up with bread.
Thank you.
It's much better.
Thank you for caring.
But anyway, so that's the Käsekreiner, which is, kind of the standard thing, at least in Vienna, that people will get at the Würstelstand. And back in 2012, there was a fight over the name, because the sausage itself, I guess, was invented, if you want, I don't know, do you invent these things? Created, whatever, in Austria?
You know, everyone's inspired by the people before them. Okay, like, yeah. Who knows? It's probably long and complicated, and we'll give it to them.
I mean, it seems fairly clear that it was actually created in Austria, but the name, Krainer, so Krain is a region in Slovenia.
Okay.
And they, back in 2012, wanted to protect this, like, regional designation. Like, if you think of the Champagne region in France, right, that's the same idea that only things that are from, like, only champagne from the Champagne region can be called champagne. And so it was a sort of similar thing where they wanted to protect Krain, or Krainer. And then there was this whole fight with Austria, because Austria was like, but what are we going to call our sausages? And in the... I mean, these were the
day-to-day issue.
Can I just say these were the problems we were dealing with in 2012, and like, to be back there. Those were the days.
Innocent days, right?
But yeah, in the end, it was decided that Austria could use the name, and Slovenia, they have a similar sausage, I guess, and that was part of the fight. So they have this sausage that's called a krańska klobasa.
Okay.
But apparently it turns out to be quite a different sausage anyway, because it doesn't have cheese in it. So I'm kind of like, what are we even talking about? These are like different things.
Yeah.
But the name is very similar. And in the end, it was decided that Austria could continue using the name Käsekrainer. The Slovenians use their Slovenian name, and it's a different sausage, and it's fine. And we're still friends.
Okay. All right. That's the kind of struggle I want to hear about right now, actually. So
yeah.
Feel good story with a good ending.
That's the kind of international politics we had, 13 years ago. That was the neighborly fight that we had, was over sausages, and then we amicably resolved it.
I had some other history here. If we go a little further back, it's kind of a cultural institution. There's this long history dating back to Austria-Hungary, this source said. So there was a tradition of street-side sausage stands that began with former soldiers who set up mobile cookshops after World War I, like to earn a living. It was originally in carts pulled by dogs, later horses and tractors. I think that's kind of quaint. I don't know about like a hot dog pulled in a cart by a dog. I just feel like there's something not as appetizing to me about that. But hey, maybe these dogs were really cute. They could pull it off. Obviously they did. The oldest Würstelstand, it's called Leo's. Dates from 1928. This must be like oldest continuous one or something. But that's like interwar period. We kind of have a personal story here. You took me to that one, Carmen. Probably, allegedly, like we think that's the one that I went to. It looks familiar to me. I mean, are there a zillion others that look like this? Maybe, but it was kind of this old looking stand. I remember that. Did you know at the time that this was the old one or unold one? Did you have a concept of that?
No, I had no idea that it was the oldest one.
Okay.
I knew that it was sort of an institution, right? It's one of the ones that people will mention when they talk about kind of the famous Würstel stands. But I didn't know it was because it was old. For me, it was the one that was closest to my university, so it's where we always went, sort of on our way home.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, allegedly, probably, maybe I took you there, but one of the mitigating factors in terms of remembering this is that we probably went there at 3:00 in the morning, as most people do, after a night out, so who knows?
It was not light out, I know that. So...
Well, sometimes it is light out, and that means it's light out again, as in it's 6 a.m. That's usually when you wind up at these places. Either
way, this is a personal story for us. In our heads at least, we went to this place, okay? And it cannot be ruled out.
I am pretty sure we went to that one, because I didn't live too far from there either, so it would have been on the way home. It's like the most logical place that we would have stopped at. So yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, and I've traveled a little bit. I've had some street foods. I will say that this kind of changed my snacking forever, just a little bit. So, I would go there, you're like, okay, yeah, like, let's get the street food. And then this, like, from American perspective, this cheesy dog with, like, some nice mustard and, like, a slab of bread. And it's, like, flavorful. It is really satiating. It was kind of like I looked at cheesy dogs differently after that. Since then, I mean, not like uninterrupted or something, but really since then, in my fridge often, there will be kind of like higher end, like cheddar dogs. And I have that rustic mustard that's kind of like that mustard, like a seedy kind of grainy thing. And when I don't have a dinner and I'm like really hungry, I could just be like, oh, you know what? I could have like 2 of these dogs with this nice mustard. And it is like, somehow I was like, oh yeah, you know what? They eat it in Vienna, so this is not like a child's food, which I feel like in the US it's kind of like, oh, cheesy dogs? Like, yeah, you eat that until you're 10 or so, and then you can like eat adult ones. It's like a very different kind of idea of it, and it's good to have. It's like a good snack.
You just have to class it up with some nice mustard, and it's like a gourmet dinner.
Yeah, so like I do eat these still. I mean, some other street foods like Turkish wet burgers, like no, not as easy to make. Like those are not going to just be on hand like this one. So,
oh, I love a Turkish wet burger.
Well, me too. I mean, if I could, make that so easily, but this is an easy one. Like, it's just kind of right for like a quick snack.
And by the way, you described it perfectly, because that's the exact way to eat it, is you get the sausage, you get a piece of bread with it, and mustard is the way to go. I mean, you can get ketchup, but that's like for plebs. Like, you gotta go mustard. That's the standard way.
Okay, yeah. I didn't even like see ketchup there. Who knows what I could even see? I was probably intoxicated, right? But anyway, very pure experience that I had. Thanks again for that.
Of course.
Okay, there are additional controversies. You mentioned, Carmen. Some stands are serving non-wurst with mustard only.
Yeah.
And that is ruffling feathers.
Some stands are straying from the purity of the Würstelstand, according to some people. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So a lot of these there's a lot of these sausage stands around the city.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the classic ones that, are famous and are well known and have this long tradition. But then you have a lot of other ones that are just random Würstel stands. And many of them also serve other stuff these days. So they have kebabs, they have Asian noodles, they have pizza, whatever. It's just like a little kiosk where you can get all kinds of different stuff. But yeah, that has ruffled some feathers, because the purists think that it's, diluting the Austrian heritage or something. And they think that the Würstelstand should really only have Würstel, so should only have sausages.
Okay.
But, sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning, you just want a kebab. That's just how it is.
Yeah, if I owned one of the stands, I'm like, hey, what other incredibly easy foods for, intoxicated people could I have on offer? Right. And hey, I just was like singing their praises a little bit about how good they are, but do I feel like that every single night? No. So I don't blame any of these stands for
exactly
wanting to mix it up a little.
You got to branch out a little bit. And, there's plenty that still just do the sausages. So it's not like they've disappeared.
All right. So there's no laws yet. Okay. Outlawing Asian noodles.
Oh, God, please.
We'll have to watch
God,
that.
Yeah. I mean, that's not totally out of left
Nope, we're
field.
keeping this head in the sand. Happy Zeitgeist, okay?
Yes, happy Zeitgeist. No, we have noodles, we have kebabs, we have sausage, all of it. It's good.
Okay. Carmen, it's time for the lightning round about your own city's intangible cultural heritage. So if you don't know what these things mean, are you even Viennese? We may have to check that. Our tens of listeners will be the judge. I have 3 expressions for you. According to Wikipedia, Vienna cultivated their own terms for certain Würstelstand products, deeply rooted in the regional dialect and its tradition for dark, bittersweet humor, okay? So, if you hear me say these phrases at a Würstelstand, what am I ordering? You will be graded on this.
Okay, I can already guess what at least 1 or 2 of them are going to be, I think, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, yeah, you're going to have to match that to my struggled,
to some mangled pronunciation.
Yeah, so you're going to have to match it to the right one. Anyway.
Oh, that's a challenge. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I am going to apologize to any speakers of German for any ear bleeding that happens. I want you to know that Carmen taught me everything I know about pronunciation,
nice.
8 years ago when I visited. So you can take it up with her. I will put her personal phone number in the show notes.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What am I ordering?
Okay.
Question number 1.
I'm ready.
Okay. A 16er Blech.
16er Blech is...
Okay.
a beer.
What did I order?
You're ordering an Ottakringer beer.
Wow. 100%.
Ding, ding, ding. Am I
okay. Right? Yes. So I guess the translation is a 16er tin.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a brand of beer. That's also the name of Vienna's 16th district, where the beer is brewed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice. All right. Einträge mit an Buggel.
Oh, God. I knew this was going to be on the list.
Okay.
But actually, that pronunciation was pretty good. Einträge mit an Buggel.
That was not terrible. Okay.
No, it was quite good. You're ordering a Käsekreiner with a bun.
Okay, I'll give that a 95. Käsekreiner sausage with an edge piece of brown bread.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
I guess it's like the edge piece, which I thought, isn't that usually the piece that people don't want?
In Austria, people like that.
Okay.
There's even a name, well, not a Buckel, nobody ever says that, or I don't know it, but there is an actual, normal German word for it that people use.
No people say that, okay? According to Wikipedia, that's what they say, so you're wrong.
And by the way, can I just
translation?
say... Oh yeah, what's the translation? Because I was just going to say, this is actually disgusting.
A purulent with a hump.
A what?
That's what it says. What's a Purulent. Okay, I'm gonna have to Google that.
I mean, eitrig, it's disgusting.
Oh no, wait. A purulent is pus.
Yes, yes, that's exactly what it means. It's super gross.
Oh gosh.
Because, I mean, nobody actually says this.
The cheese is a pus?
Yeah.
Like the cheese in the... Oh gosh,
yeah, because
no.
it's like melted cheese and it kind of like...
Well, now we know why this was the last thing to get on the intangible cultural heritage list, like behind the taverns. I'm sorry, you were fighting Slovenia for this? Your pus?
For the pussing sausage.
Gosh.
It's so disgusting.
Okay.
I've never heard anybody actually say that, seriously. But yeah, it always comes up as this like Viennese expression, but nobody actually really says that. It's so gross.
Okay. Always comes up, yet no one says it. So how's it coming up?
I don't know, the Germans. I don't know. Some people who don't know what they're talking about.
Got it. Okay. All right, last question. A crocodile.
A what?
A crocodile.
A crocodile. And crocodile. A crocodile. What does that mean?
A pickle.
Oh, a pickle. A crocodile. Okay, yeah. I don't think I've heard that one before.
Okay. I mean, I guess you can try it out. Go to Leo's and see if it's legit or something. Okay, you did pretty well, Carmen. Nice. And I will just throw in that I feel like one time you said that I do sound like a close to native speaker who's on some kind of drug, who's talking way too slow. Okay, so I kind of hold that with me. I'm like, you know what? My pronunciation's not always like great, but if I take my time, it's like in the neighborhood.
It's in the ballpark. That was pretty good. I'm impressed, actually.
Okay.
Especially crocodile.
But I'm like, you know what? You would shame me if you had the reason to, so I trust that. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean...
Okay, yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'll tell it to you straight.
And like legitimately, maybe I said that last one well enough that you were confused. You're kind of like, no, he couldn't actually mean what he actually said, right? It must be something else.
No, I mean it was like correct.
Crocodile.
Crocodile. No, it was correctly pronounced. I just didn't know what it was because
Wow.
I've not heard that expression before. So
You don't call pickles crocodiles.
No, I don't.
I guess you could be forgiven. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Next time anyone listening is in Vienna, check these things out and maybe test their lingo, okay, at the stands.
Honestly, I don't know how well you would do with actually trying that out. I think they might be like,
That's right.
What is this nonsense?
Yeah, it's risky.
It's risky, but give it a go. See what the reaction is. It could be fun.
Okay, now to the most important topic. Carmen, what are you doing for the American Super Bowl tonight at the time of this recording? So we're going to discuss, there's a surprising number of options for people in Vienna who want to watch the American football Super Bowl game live.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we've discussed this briefly before. Neither one of us are really that big.
You've touched on the sort of football subculture that's just kind of always there in Vienna. We've mentioned it once or twice.
And neither one of us really are that big of football fans, right? So it's not like we really know what we're talking about here.
Yeah, not really.
But yeah, it is the Super Bowl tonight, and there's all these parties happening in Vienna where you can go. I kind of looked it up. There's a big one at the Marriott Hotel, and then in the Prater, which is the big park. I guess there's some indoor venue there where they're doing these all-you-can-eat events, including cheerleaders, which why? I mean, okay.
Cheerleaders, great.
So it's these all-you-can-eat events, and they cost €100 plus. All the ones that I looked up were you buy these tickets, I guess, to enter the event, and then it's an all-night thing, and it costs €120 to watch the Super Bowl, which...
Well, yeah, I mean...
Do people do that in the U.S.?
Yeah, it's...
Isn't it more like parties just at home?
I feel like it's parties at home. I mean, you could definitely go to bars. But yeah, I would think at bars it would probably be ticketed somehow, because it's so long. American football games are hours long. So I think these bars are kind of keep paying us or get out of here. So there's probably some sort of thing. But yeah, I think that tradition is mostly... parties and house parties and guacamole and people kind of will cook stuff and who has the biggest couch kind of vibe, right, of who's going to host it.
Yeah, and everybody brings some chicken wings and 7-layer dip or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, but these Austrian fans are diehards because the game doesn't start until 12:30 a.m. So like after midnight is the beginning of it.
Yeah, it's super late. These parties start at 9 or 10 p.m. It's a Sunday. People have to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's school, whatever. So yeah, I mean, these people are committed much more than I ever would be. And so you have all these different, they call it public viewing.
Okay.
Is that an expression that means anything to you in English? Public viewing?
No. That's just like a generic, words. What does that mean? That means something special?
Yeah, it's the term, and like the English term is used in German. People will say that they're going to a public viewing, and they'll use it also for soccer games and, these football games and whatever. It's basically a sporting event where there is in some bar or outdoors, if it's in summer, some big screen set up in a square or at a bar. Okay. And so you go there to watch the game. Okay. It's just going to a place to watch the game, but it's called public viewing. And they use that expression in English. And so, there's, I guess, a bunch of public viewings around town. And it turns out that there actually is a bit of a history, because I was very confused about why football suddenly is a thing, and where is this coming from?
Right, like €100 ticket that doesn't just start like this year. There's,
Yeah, and, watching a game that starts at midnight here...
It's a big ask.
Having enough people actually interested to pay €100 to do that, it's like not obvious why this would be happening. But I guess there is a bit of, football fandom happening around here. And apparently Vienna has a football team called the Vienna Vikings. Oh. And they are the most dominant American football team in Europe.
Okay.
And I looked it up, and in 2024 they had 34 wins and 2 losses. But I'm kind of like, who are they playing? Like, who's the competition?
I was thinking that. Okay, I mean, I don't want to, rain on this parade here, but okay, they're dominating whatever league this is. Wow.
Yeah, I guess there's some sort of European league. I don't really know who else is playing in that. And I found this article where they were talking about how, 1 in every 2 Austrians by now knows about the Vikings. I was initially really confused, because I thought they were talking about the Minnesota Vikings. And I was like, why would half of Austrians know who the Minnesota Vikings are? Mm-hmm. But it turns out it's the Vienna Vikings, and I'm apparently part of the 50% that does not know who they are.
Okay, well...
But I looked them up now, and they're kind of like a ripoff of the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, the logo is the same. They also have the same purple color.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It looks the same. Like there's just a little sort of subtle Vienna over the Viking thing, right?
Barely.
Yeah, right. All right.
So I'm really confused. They don't seem to be affiliated with each other in any way.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I don't really know what that's about. And they also play in the AFL, which is the Austrian Football League. Oh, and I think, isn't that one of the things in the US? Isn't there the American Football League, which is also the AFL?
I think you're right. Yeah, wasn't that like a sort of... Well, no, there's the NFL, there's the XFL. Yeah, I'm sure there's that league, though. Yeah, there's probably an AFL. I think
there was the AFL.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I love this, blind leading the blind through this football discussion. People are probably crying, cringing.
I mean... Because I don't know anything about this, I looked up the Super Bowl today to look into the history of it. Mm-hmm. And it used to be the AFL-NFL championship game or something like that was the name of it before it was called the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Because the name of the Super Bowl is from 1970. It's kind of recent.
No idea.
Yeah, and before that it was this AFL-NFL championship game. So anyway, in Austria, I don't know, they're trying to replicate all of this or copy it or something. So there's the AFL, the Austrian Football League, and you have these Vienna Vikings, which look like the Minnesota Vikings, and apparently win most of their games against whoever they are playing against.
Okay.
But there is at least one guy in the NFL, like the actual American NFL, who's from Austria. He plays on the Indianapolis Colts. And his name is Bernhard Reimann.
Okay.
And he used to play on the Vienna Vikings Youth League, apparently, and now he's an offensive tackle in the NFL. So there is some...
Wow.
A little pipeline of people, I guess, that actually make it to the NFL.
That's right. Austria is just this, pipeline for, beefy guys that were then sent over. Okay, it's Schwarzenegger, now, Bernhard.
Those are the two we've got.
So, every so often... Right. They are exported to the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not what I expected to be happening, in Vienna on a Sunday evening. but cool.
Yeah. I mean, I find it very random. I've never been to any one of these parties, but yeah, maybe I gotta do some on-the-ground reporting for next time around and see what these parties are all about.
Yeah, we'll start like a GoFundMe, okay? For next year, we'll raise that €100 and you will go and do, some interviews there.
And I expect there to be some Käsekreiner and like a Würstelstand, because...
I'm sure... Okay, like
that seems to me like football Sunday Austrian style the way to go.
You're right. These foods do go together, or this food, this event. Yeah, you kind of do need a little bit of intangible cultural heritage there, okay, to like keep it grounded at this event, right?
Yeah. It's like the perfect combo. Yeah, so, I mean, it turns out that American football is one of the fastest growing sports in Austria. The New England Patriots signed a new partnership in November 2024 with the American Football Association Austria.
Okay.
And so they're starting to organize some nationwide events and activities to grow the audience and participation in American football. So I guess there's like a real active push to increase the popularity, increase the visibility of it. I think the NFL is doing quite a bit in Europe as well, I think, to kind of raise the profile and, get more fans or whatever it is that they're looking for.
Yeah, and again, I probably know by now we're not really NFL fans, but it's just like interesting to hear of this expansion while there is, I feel like, really unresolved stuff about all of the concussions and like the brain issues. But
I mean, yeah. Maybe that's why they have to branch out. Maybe there's less people willing to go into this, knowing what it actually means.
But hey, you know what? I bet those are some eclectic, interesting people, okay, that are like the fans of these non-native sports, at different countries. I think that is kind of an interesting scene, generally. But
it is, yeah, because how do you even get into this? And then I kind of feel like the people who do get into this, they're like more Catholic than the Pope, right? They're like the biggest fans you will ever find because they have to...
Yeah.
They have to work for it. They have to stay up till 3:00 in the morning. It's not like a casual background thing.
Yeah, or it can be kind of like, soccer or like European football fans here. There's a couple bars that will play, kind of like play all the games. World Cup like turns into a little thing. But if you want to follow your team here, like some like European team, you have to kind of know the random bars that are going to play the games at like, 8 a.m. somewhere. And it is there to be found. But yeah, I'm sure there's like a little scene and people kind of get to know each other because they're showing up. Like, yeah, maybe it's like that.
Yeah, you're making an effort. And yeah, it can't be that big of a community at this stage. Yeah. So I guess, they do their thing.
I mean, who knows? There's a big public viewing. So maybe.
Actually, there's quite a few of them. So, yeah.
Okay, you're the odd one out. When you
guess,
grew up so close to the Detroit Lions, you'd probably be a celebrity. Okay.
I do have my Detroit Lions sweater.
Whoa.
Had they made it to the Super Bowl, I would have been very into it because I'm a very fair weather fan.
Exactly. Same. If they're doing well, I'll tune in at the very end. Okay.
Exactly. I'll jump on the bandwagon in the 11th hour and kind of see what's going on and pretend like I've been there the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Perfect.
Well, that's how I roll with these things. Yeah. But anyway, the Lions... they had a moment where it looked kind of promising, and then that died, as I think it usually does. So that was the end of my...
Oh, yeah. I think I remember hearing something about that.
End of my paying attention to it.
Okay. Well, you still have another chance tonight. You could change your mind, right? You have a couple hours to decide if you don't want to sleep tonight.
Exactly. I have a few games. When does the game start?
12:30.
In a couple of hours. I've got plenty of time. Exactly. Middle of the night.
Okay, so we gave you, I think, in this episode, one very easy thing to check out, one extremely challenging thing to check out in Vienna.
You could very nicely combine the two if you happen to be around in February.
You could, right. And this is the Zeitgeist that we choose to acknowledge.
Yes. This is the Zeitgeist we're living in.
Right.
Not any other one.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for joining us in our little world.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so that is it for our show. Thank you for listening. If you liked what you heard, share it with your friends or leave us a 5-star review. And if you didn't like it, then, well, don't worry about that review.
You can find us in social medias, Vienna Past and Pres on Instagram, or send us your episode ideas at viennapastandpresent@gmail.com.
Auf Wiedersehen, pfiat euch, baba.
Bye.